Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Gragson, and welcome back to another episode of Inside Lines. Hope you guys are having a good day and an even better holidays. I know during these tough times that we're living in, it can be difficult to look at some of the good things, but hopefully to people out there that are with their family, hope you guys are having a great holiday. We're going to start the show off with a very disappointing story. Nikita Mazepin. You know the deal with him for the past 3 or 4, actually about a month now. He's been the talk of everyone in the racing community over the incident that took place when he filmed himself groping a woman on camera. And there were a lot of rumors as to what would happen to his future. A lot of people, like myself, believe that even though he is a garbage human being, he would still keep his ride even after this incident because of his money and because of the state of Haas F1 right now. They need the money to stay afloat. We know, it's been publicly known, their financial struggles in Formula 1. So they needed Mazepin's money in order to stay in business. But obviously, when you take a look at Mazepin's actions over the past 1-2 years, many people were wondering, is Haas F1 going to take the greedy route or the moral route? Well, it looked at first that they were going to be taking the greedy route because all they said was that they're going to deal with the situation behind closed doors. And then, very oddly, Nikita then deleted his apology, deleted everything Haas related. Pietro Fittipaldi then put this on his Instagram and Twitter pages saying that he was a Haas F1 driver, while Nikita Mazepin still had, I believe, F2 driver. So many people were wondering, would Fittipaldi would then replace Mazepin? That's what it seemed like at first. I mean, Fittipaldi ran the final 2 races of the F1 season. Haas and Gunther were very happy with Fittipaldi's performance. Many people were wondering, could we see a Schumacher and Fittipaldi team in 2021? And then once something gets going, it gets going real quick on the internet, and it started to become a really big possibility. And people are actually starting to maybe have some hope that this would be true. Well, that apparently did not come true. Haas F1 today officially announced that Nikita Mazepin will be part of Haas F1 Racing and will be part of the team when they hit the track in 2021 for the Formula 1 World Championship. The team said in a statement, quote, Haas F1 team would like to reaffirm that Nikita Mazepin and Mick Schumacher will form its driver lineup for the 2021 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. As per the team's previous statement regarding the actions of Nikita Mazepin on December 9th, this matter has now been dealt with internally and no further comment shall be made. So basically what they're trying to do is, because they want to do this behind closed doors and then no comment shall be made, Haas is hoping that this situation dies down, life eventually goes on, and people go out and live their normal lives and forget the situation ever happened. Well, based on social media, I don't think anyone is going to let this slide, and people are going to make sure they're going to let Haas know about what they feel towards Nikita Mazepin. I mean, Haas was trending worldwide. Hashtag We Say No to Mazepin was trending worldwide. It was amazing the amount of people that were interacting with this incident. People also were wanting to boycott F1, boycott Haas, do not support the team. You can support Mick Schumacher. Someone even put a link, or someone tweeted a link to Mick Schumacher's shop. So hey, if you want to support Mick, buy from his merch shop. Don't buy anything from Haas. And yeah, so this basically all but seals the story. And I don't want to reiterate some points that I made in the last 2 videos because I don't want to do that. But overall, my thoughts on this. I'm not surprised because, again, he's got the money. And he has done stupid stuff like this in the past where he's just been very insensitive. I mean, during an interview with Will Buxton, asking Nikita Mazepin what type of driver would F1 be getting, and he basically said that he'd be a person that would always do whatever he could right up until the limit. In other words, he would try and get away with as many things as he can before he gets caught. That's basically what he's saying. And to be honest, when you take a look at his actions in the past, he has done a lot of stuff that should have gotten him in serious trouble, and nothing's ever happened to him. I mean, he did have that one race suspension for punching him so hard that he gave him a black eye, I believe, even though a swollen jaw. But that's it. Yeah, but the most disappointing part about this situation is not the fact that he didn't lose his ride, because I had a feeling he was not going to lose his ride, but the fact that we've heard nothing from the FIA Formula 1. This is a serious incident. This is something you just cannot turn a blind eye to. You have to address the situation. And the FIA Formula 1, they have done jack. They have done nothing. The We Race as One campaign, I've always thought it was complete BS. It is now officially BS. Throw it in the trash. I don't want to see that rainbow logo or whatever. I don't want to see any of that We Race Has Won stuff next season because it's just a load of bull. All right, they clearly don't care about this. They clearly don't care about equality. I don't even think they care about racism because when you really think about it, Lewis Hamilton's the only one that has been really pushing for racism. Formula One, I don't think they've done that much, if any. NASCAR has done more against these types of issues, against controversial and very sensitive topics, and they have a predominantly white Southern fan base, and they've only had one black driver, and they've done more and handled situations like this a lot better than Formula One, who has people that come from all over the world, have come from all different parts, different places, in different races all over the world, and they have just been complete trash at it. I mean, not even a fine. Not a fine or sensitivity training. Kyle Larson, when he said the N-word on a live stream, the very next day, he was fired by Chip Ganassi. Yes, it started out with the sponsors leaving before Chip Ganassi then eventually fired him. But still, even right after that, NASCAR then suspended him indefinitely and said, you have to go to sensitivity training before you could even be considered for reinstatement. Nikita Mazepin is groping women and nothing. We've heard nothing from them. And keep in mind, this is not the only time we have seen him display inappropriate actions against women. There have been screenshots of him texting women, asking for pictures of their butt and other stuff like that. That is just completely gross and cringe to watch, to be honest. So this is not the first time he has had weird and very inappropriate interactions with women. Here's a dumb example. Max Verstappen simply pushed Esteban Ocon once or twice and called him a pussy, and then had to do a couple days of public service to be a better representative and to handle things like this more professionally. And again, nothing from Mazepin. For all the crap he has done, still nothing. And I can't imagine the women, especially of Haas F1. I know the women in the paddock, they are fierce, but especially I want to focus on the women of Haas F1 because I know there are women that work on that team. Imagine you have to go to work now, build a car or do whatever to contribute to the team and help a guy that got away with sexual assault. I mean, I don't know about y'all. I don't know. I'm not speaking for anyone else, but I'd be livid. But yeah, honestly, I don't know what else to add on to this. I don't want to repeat some of the stuff that I've said in the past two videos. I don't want it to be just a run-on type thing or an encore type of situation. So, yeah, I'm in America. I live in Florida. There's no America's not relevant in F1. We have the only American F1 team in Haas, and you can't even vote for them anymore. You can't morally vote for them or root for them. And I also find it funny when you really think about it from a general perspective. The American is helping the Russian get away with it. The irony. But yeah, I don't know what else could happen from this. I'm surprised. I'm very interested in knowing what maybe the sponsors have to say about this, like Peak. They're also a big part of Haas F1. But yeah, I mean, I knew F1 they didn't care about things like this, but my God, I didn't expect it to be that low. I mean, there's always that meme going on about expectations were low, but we didn't know it was this low. This is my feeling right now with Formula One. My expectations were low, but I didn't know y'all were gonna go this low. Very disappointing, to say the least. Yeah, this has been a somewhat sad way to start this show. So see if we can take a turn and move on to other stories so we can line the mood just a little bit. The Money Team Racing, Floyd Mayweather. They have been, well, I don't know. This whole story has been weird. They announced back in 2019 that they were going to be making a new team, the Money Team Racing. Of course, that is Floyd Mayweather's, signature. That's his nickname. Now, it should be important to point out that the team is just using the license. They're just using the name. Floyd Mayweather is probably more than likely not going to be affiliated, like hands-on, or more than likely probably doesn't know anything about NASCAR. They just probably say, hey, it looks like a good investment. All right, shoot, fine, put my name on it. He probably doesn't care about racing, let's be honest. He's more than likely just agreed to it so he can get some money off of it. Actually, at this rate, I'm pretty sure Floyd would do anything for money, even fighting a YouTube boxer. But yeah, they said that in 2019 that they were going to race in the season finale at Homestead. That didn't happen. The team then went silent. And then, starting in 2020, in February, that the new team owner, or at least the co-owner, of the Money Team Racing was at the Daytona 500, setting up plans for a partial schedule. Now that didn't happen, of course. The Money Team was trying to buy a charter to run a part-time schedule in 2020. It didn't happen. Then COVID-19 hit, which just shut down all plans of ever trying to start up a new team that season. And then they just went quiet. And we all thought that, oh, it's probably just something that they were trying to do. Didn't happen. We move on. Apparently, there's still stuff going on. That team is still trying to make it to NASCAR. Adam Stern dropped another added bomb saying that the Money Team Racing is in discussions with Spire Motorsports to form a new partnership for at least starting in 2021. The deal would involve Floyd Mayweather's team backing Spire in 2021 before using a Spire charter in 2022 to run a full-time entry. It makes sense being 2022, the start of the next gen car. It makes sense if you're going to start your new team, you better start it at that year. Bob Parker said that working with Spire would allow the team to work on cultivating sponsors and then be prepared to run its own team in the following years. And it makes sense. If you're going to start up a new team in an environment that you're not familiar with, it makes sense to get your feet wet before you dive in head first into the water. Now, this partnership more than likely will be happening because if you go on the Money Team Racing's Twitter page and you click on the following, the first one there is Spire Motorsports. So clearly these two are in real talks and it might be happening for real. Again, I should point out that the Money Team Racing, they're just using Floyd's signature. They're just using the rights of the name. Floyd Mayweather is not like Michael Jordan, where he's actually putting his money and is actually investing into NASCAR. He's just allowed the people that want to make this new team to add his name onto the team. That's basically it. So I just wanted to clear that up so that there's no confusion between Floyd and Michael. People are saying this might be the same thing. Oh, another black owner. It's yes and no. So just want to clear that up. And honestly, this would be really cool if this actually were to take place. I mean, we've seen teams in the past be able to get charters, be able to start something happen, and then they just fall flat. I think the New York racing team that had like the steakhouse sponsorship, and I think JJ Yeley drove in the 7 car, they were going to start something, and then we heard nothing from them. Obaika Racing, started by an African owner. That whole mess that I'm going to talk about later, but that just fell flat on its face. We've seen new teams start up, but never been able to see them actually be stable, actually stay afloat, and actually thrive. It's been a while. In fact, I think the last time we've seen a team start up and actually be competitive was Furniture Row Racing. But then again, they did shut down, so yeah, it's been a while we've seen a new team in late NASCAR these days be good and stay afloat. So hopefully this thing does actually happen. It'll be nice to see another team jump on the board in NASCAR. NASCAR's got a lot of new team owners coming into play with the next gen car rolling out in 2022. Michael Jordan Racing 23XI. You got the partnership with Live Fast Motorsports between BJ McLeod, how you ever pronounce his name, and Matt Tiff. And now looks like maybe the Money Team Racing. So not at the moment, but hopefully this thing actually does happen and nothing falls off. And it'll be really cool to see the number 50 car maybe hit the track as early as 2022. And now we're going to talk about 2 upcoming NASCAR drivers, Anthony Alfredo and Gragson. But let's first talk about Anthony Alfredo. Currently at the moment, he has competed in 19 Xfinity Series starts for Richard Childress Racing. Unfortunately, does not have a job at the moment for 2021. He said he hopes to stay in Richard Childress Racing for 2021. There's also been reports about him maybe in talks with Colleague Racing for 2021, but that obviously didn't happen. That got taken up by AJ Allmendinger. But now a report comes out that potentially Anthony Alfredo might get a full-time cup ride at Front Row Motorsports. That's right. It's first reported by Adam Stern, of course, saying that Front Row Motorsports is in talks of having Anthony Alfredo replace the departing John Hunter Nemechek, who's going to drive for Kyle Busch Motorsports in trucks next season, to replace him in the 38 car full-time in the Cup Series. Now, this is a very surprising and odd decision. We take a look at his stats. Anthony Alfredo's stats from the 2020 Xfinity Series season. 19 starts, 0 wins, 2 top 5s, 9 top 10s, an average finish of 12.6 with the best finish of 3rd at Texas in the fall. Obviously, his most memorable moment came when you flash back to what happened in Kansas. Went on a restart, got entry in turn 1, and went upside down and landed on his roof. But still, he had some really nice runs, like I said, that 3rd place finish at Texas. But to me, it's just weird. Because I think you have also drivers that you have to point out. For example, Ty Dillon. We don't know what he's going to do in 2021. Got let go from Germain Racing after they shut down. We don't know what his future is in 2021. I thought for sure maybe Ty Dillon, because of his Cup experience, could be a good spot for Front Row Motorsports. But you also have to understand with Anthony Alfredo is sponsorship. Currently the 38 car, I don't know what's going on with the sponsorship deal. I know Jonathan Nemechek brought in Fire Alarm Services to the Cup Series. I don't know if they're still with the team at the moment, but very interested that they're looking at Anthony Alfredo, because I don't know if he's the type of driver that really brings anything to the team. Neither does Ty Dillon, but still, at least Ty Dillon has experience. I don't know what Anthony Alfredo has for sponsorship, maybe iRacing, but that's about it. But to me, it's just a very weird pick. It's an interesting pick. I do believe Anthony Alfredo can be a really good race car driver. We know he can do the Xfinity Series, even though in his 19 starts, he has put on some really strong runs last season. So we know he can drive. But I don't know, him going to Cup after just one part-time Xfinity Series schedule, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right decision, but we'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, another Xfinity driver will definitely get his shot at making his Cup Series debut in Daytona in 2021. Beard Motorsports. Now, for the past 3 or 4 seasons, they have only raced on the Super Speedway packages on Daytona and Talladega, and has had Brendan Gaughan as their driver. Well, with Gaughan retiring, they need a new replacement. Enter Noah Gragson. Reported first by CatchFence.com, it says that Noah Gragson will drive the number 62 Chevrolet Beard Motorsports car and will try to race their way into the 2021 Daytona 500. If this does happen, Noah Gragson will make his debut start in the Cup Series, has won numerous Xfinity races, had a breakout year this season. I believe won four more races. Has also been in the headlines a lot more due to his aggressive driving style, but regardless, looks like he will be having a shot at making the Great American Race in 2021. Now, I'm very interested to see what the partnership, if this is just going to be a Bearded Motorsports deal, or could it be a Beard Motorsports and Hendrick Motorsports deal? If you look back last year with Ross Chastain, he drove a Spire Motorsports car, but it had backing from Chip Ganassi Racing. I don't know what's going on, if the team is just going to be racing independently, or could they have some form of partnership, maybe with Junior Motorsports or Hendrick Motorsports, because we do know HMS and JRM, they do have that connection from Xfinity to Cup. But yeah, I'm not surprised Noah Gragson to get a shot at the Cup Series. I think he is well established in Xfinity. We know he can drive. So I'm not surprised to see him get some experience at the Cup level. I do believe he's going to be in the Cup Series in a couple of years. So why not get your feet wet, get some Cup Series experience before you enter in full time. But as for Anthony Alfredo, again, I really don't understand this pick. He hasn't competed in a single Xfinity Series season full time. He's only competed in half of the races in the entire season. He hasn't even competed full time in trucks, also raced part time. So I don't know. I don't get the pick, but yeah. Again, I like Anthony Alfredo, but I would much rather prefer see FRM bring in a much more experienced driver like a Ty Dillon, for example, rather than a very inexperienced driver in Anthony Alfredo. I do believe Alfredo's a really good race car driver, but I think we need to see him actually win and do well in Xfinity before you put him straight into Cup ride. Now on to our final story. It revolves around NASCAR and iRacing. Now, if you were into NASCAR and know what was going on with the sport, during the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic back in March, April, NASCAR held an online mini-series called the eNASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational Series. It had a bunch of NASCAR drivers come in and race on virtual tracks like Homestead, Texas, Richmond, Talladega, and ending off at North Wilkesboro. And it was a major success. A lot of people tuned into it. Ratings was really, really good for a eNASCAR or for an iRacing event. In fact, it is still to this day I think the second race at Homestead. I forgot what race exactly, but it holds as the most watched esports event in history, so that's a really good thing to put your title on. Not only that, but it also drummed up a lot of interest with NASCAR itself and iRacing. iRacing sales skyrocketed, I believe, more than 54%. It was a huge success on both parties. Well, when NASCAR got back to racing, obviously they stopped that. More than likely, you only probably saw maybe snippets of the Coca-Cola iRacing series that airs on NASCAR's YouTube page. Well, now it looks like because 2021, we're still going to see a lot of one-day shows. COVID-19 is still a thing, even though it's gone, let's just say it's gone a lot better in terms of how NASCAR has handled it. More than likely, you're going to see some restrictions be let off just a little bit as the 2021 season goes on. But we're going to see a lot of one-day shows. I believe all but 5 races are going to see no practice or qualifying. Well, to make it up, according to by Adam Stern, NASCAR and iRacing are working on sim races to broadcast, I believe, either on NASCAR's YouTube page, on social media, or potentially even on TV during the Friday-Saturday windows of practice or qualifying to make up for the lack of on-track action. Now, I get it at first, why? But at the same time, I don't think it's a good idea. First of all, we should give NASCAR a bit of credit, or not a bit of credit, but we should not go all in just yet. We don't know if this is going to be a weekly thing, like every Friday or every Saturday. But I do believe that the iRacing fab has run its course. I think only 8 or 9 races was the iRacing Pro Invitational Series. And I'll be honest, after 6 races, I was kind of already done with it. Like, I would still watch it, but I was no longer excited for it. And I do believe that if NASCAR and iRacing, they're going to keep on airing these races, putting on sim races every single week or however long, I think even more than 7 races, I think is already going to be way too much. There's a lot of iRacing offline and online leagues going on across social media, across the NASCAR community. I just think one more of this, it's going to be a little bit of an overkill to the iRacing community. At some point, I think fans are going to be like, you know what? I want something different. And I think NASCAR should maybe alternate. Maybe instead of, put on a classic race during those times, or I don't know, but something different every week. Don't just keep on putting up iRacing all the time. People are just going to get sick and tired of it. I think NASCAR knows that, which is why I don't believe that they're going to be going every single week with this. If they do, that's dumb. But if it's maybe every once in a while, like maybe twice a month, I don't know. But if they're going to do this, do not do it on a weekly basis. Only do it select timing, spread out. Make sure it's special. What I'm also interested is that, okay, let's say they do go through with this. Are the drivers going to be involved? Because you have to understand, they're going to be at the racetrack, maybe. Or I don't know what the deal is going on. I don't know if it's going to be the same process where they enter in on Sunday and leave on Sunday. Or if they're going to stay over the 2 nights. Or I don't know what the deal is. But I don't know if the drivers are going to be... In fact, all of the drivers, or majority of them, are going to want to be able to participate in this. I mean, we saw a lot of veteran drivers, a lot of drivers had trouble with iRacing, like Kurt Busch, Keselowski, Kevin Harvick. I don't know if they want to go through with that. A big reason why the Pro Invitational Series was so good was also the drivers, seeing them completely out of their comfort zone and into an environment that they're not used to. Well, if majority of those drivers are not there and you fill them up with drivers that no one cares about, no offense, it might not do so well. But at the same time, it could drum up for interesting storylines like Timmy Hill, Garrett Smithley. I mean, they became nearly household names during the pandemic, and they have not once cracked even the top 20 in a real NASCAR Cup race. Or 15, I don't know. Regardless, I understand why NASCAR is considering this, but I don't think it should be the only thing that they should do in terms of filling up Friday and Saturday time slots. I do believe, if it was up to me, I think we should have at least just 1 hour of practice, single qualifying run, like 1 hour practice on Friday, single lap qualifying on Saturday, then the race on Sunday. That's what I would do. I mean, when you look at other series like F1 and IndyCar, they're all doing it, no problem. I understand people say, well, what if they crash? They don't want, teams to risk going maybe back and forth cross country. Let's say if a race is in Las Vegas and they crash, they have to go back to North Carolina and send a car over there. I get that, but when you look at IndyCar and F1, you barely see any crashes. In NASCAR and qualifying and practice and qualifying, there are barely crashes, barely stuff happens. I know things can happen, but I just think it would be better for teams and drivers to get used to the environment, get used to the track, get used to their cars. 1 hour practice, I don't know. I don't think that's going to hurt anyone. 1 lap qualifying, I don't think that's going to hurt anyone. Again, this is coming from a fan, so I know I don't know much, but in my opinion, that's the direction I would go to. But I do understand why NASCAR is considering airing iRacing events because they have been entertaining, but I do worry about overkill and NASCAR oversaturating its audience and having just iRacing left, right, and center. It could hurt the product. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's going to conclude this episode of Inside the Lines. Tell me in the comment section down below, folks, what are your thoughts on any of the stories that I talked about? Really want to know your thoughts on the Nikita Mazepin story. I know for some reason, that's a very controversial thing to talk about because there are people out there that actually defend him. I'm going to be real with you. If you still support him, you're a donut. All right, I don't care. You know me and my show. I got no filter. I'm not gonna play this PC crap. I do believe if you support him, you are a donut, flat out a donut. But yeah, still want to hear your thoughts. So also, what are your thoughts on maybe Anthony Alfredo potentially being a replacement for the 38 car? Noah Gragson more than likely going to be running in the Daytona 500, depending how good he runs during the dual races and the qualifying races. And also, what are your thoughts on NASCAR potentially airing more iRacing events, whether on broadcast television or online, to replace the Friday-Saturday slot? Do you think they should go for something different, like maybe classic races or something else? I don't know, but love to hear your thoughts on any of the stories that I talked about. But until next time, my name is JettMDK, and I'll see you guys next time.